All right, everybody, welcome to this lesson, Becoming Clear on Your Message. The foundation of your marketing, of your offer, of what you're going to sell, that's what we're covering here. If the foundation is not strong, the whole building falls down. Everybody knows that. So this is a very, very important section. So first, we're going to talk about how to choose what course to sell. Now, if you've already decided what course you're going to sell, still watch this. It will really help you understand your positioning and understand like the angle of why this is for you. As well, we're going to look at common traits of all successful programs. If you don't have these traits, you need to make sure that they're present. Then we're going to look at the elements of a great marketing message. These are elements that all great marketing messages have. And then we're going to create our three statements. And our first one is our refined marketing statement. We're going to create that. We're going to create our big domino statement. We're going to create our roadblock statement. And these three statements right here are very important to have because they're three marketing statements that are largely internal, like they're for your reference only, and you also use them in your marketing as well. But the thing about it is, if you can complete these three statements, you can say them without rambling, you can make them clear, then everything else will fall into place. It's the foundation of everything you're going to do, your webinar, everything. And the bottom line is, if these are not clear, if they're not clear right now, you're going to struggle. You're going to constantly struggle. So the first step is to get these marketing statements complete, finished, making sense, and not convoluted. No rambling, okay? If all three of these are on point, then you've laid the foundation and you can begin. But if you're struggling with these, you have no business moving forward. You have to get these right. Otherwise, you will struggle every single day. Next, we're going to look at choosing a name for your course. We're also going to look at understanding the pricing models and what to charge, okay? So let's talk about how to choose what course to sell. This is a very simple equation if you're wondering about this. You simply answer the 5 following questions and it will become crystal clear what course niche, or niche, however you want to say it, you should be in, okay? So first, we need to find out what industries and niches you're an expert in, okay? Next, of these, which are you the most equipped? Which ones are you the most equipped to help people? Of these, which ones are you the most passionate about teaching? And then, what laser focus aspect are you an expert in? And then, of these, which are you the most equipped to help people with? Now, you might be like, okay, whoa, that's a lot. Okay, let me break it down for you. So, when I was deciding what my course was going to be, I first asked myself, what am I an expert in? Well, I'm an expert in music production, guitar playing, online marketing, and martial arts, okay? If I had to pick 4 things. Of these, what are you most equipped to help people? Well, currently I haven't played guitar in years, and I'm very rusty, so, you know, I wouldn't teach that. As well, it's been 10 years since I've done martial arts. I do a different martial art now, and I'm definitely not an expert in that one, so probably not that one. I am an expert in music production. I'm a thorough expert in music production, and I'm a thorough expert in online marketing. So I narrowed it down to these 2, okay? Next, of these, which are you most passionate about teaching? Well, I'm most passionate about teaching online marketing because when I teach music production, generally I would have to do a lot of work because I used to teach music production, and I would generally have to do a lot of work to get somebody such a simple thing like getting a better guitar sound or learning how to edit vocals or drums or something. And it really didn't make a huge impact on their lives, right? I mean, it made an impact, but nowhere near as big as helping someone quit their job, which is what happens with online marketing. And so I felt more fulfilled and more passionate about teaching online marketing, and also because, you know, I felt I could get more creative with it. And so I narrowed it down to that. So then I asked myself, okay, why am I an expert at online marketing? What laser focused aspects of it am I an expert in? Well, I did have a 6-figure e-commerce website. I had both a 6-figure Shopify and a 6-figure Amazon store. However, honestly, it was kind of, I didn't really understand why. Like, I think I just got on a trend. Like I wasn't, I didn't feel like I was super good at that. Could I have taught people that? Yes. Could I have taught somebody to make money with that? Yes, but I personally felt that it was very difficult, and a lot of what happened with me may have been luck and just pure will and determination, and I really couldn't create a system from it. So then there was running an ad agency, right? And I was very successful at that, and I had a really good system, a really good angle, and so I was like, okay, I could definitely teach this. And then there was affiliate marketing, which I had a $30,000 a month affiliate marketing blog. But what happened with that, and I was really good at that, and I could totally teach that. But what happened with that was it relied on SEO. And then when the SEO crash happened and I lost all my Google rankings, I didn't know how to continue to make money without search engine optimization with that particular thing. I do now, but then I didn't. And so out of those three, I felt the most equipped to teach running an ad agency because I had such a unique kind of approach, and I was all about, doing things in a way that most people did opposite. And so I felt that not only did I have a unique approach to it, but that's what I was a laser focused aspect of that. And then I asked myself, of those, what am I most equipped to help people with? And that's when I landed on running an ad agency. Okay. Because, like I said, e-commerce, I felt like I didn't really know why I was succeeding. Affiliate marketing, as I told you, it was like I was like a one-hit wonder. Running an ad agency, solid. And so that's why the answer to the next question of these, what are you most equipped to help people with, is running an ad agency, because of those reasons. So first, I said, what am I an expert in? Music production, guitar playing, online marketing, martial arts. Of these, what am I most equipped to help people with? Music production and online marketing. Of these, what am I the most passionate about? Teaching, online marketing. Then I broke that wide open. What aspects am I an expert in that I've had success in? E-com, agency, and affiliate marketing. But of those, I'm most equipped to help people with an ad agency. And that's how I landed on that. Okay. And so you'll notice that this isn't just about making money. It's about understanding what you're most qualified to help people with and really deliver. So next, we need to choose our level of positioning. Okay, our level of positioning. Now, this is how level of positioning works. Once we've decided on what we're going to teach, for instance, for me, ad agency, we have to look at our level of positioning. So we have near. Now, near means we are that our audience. Okay, and this is our level of positioning is directly related to who our audience is. So near are an audience of people actively trying to achieve a specific goal, doing what you teach. Okay? Medium is actively trying to achieve a specific goal, not yet doing what you teach. And far is aware of a vague goal, but not actively trying to achieve it. Totally unfamiliar with what you teach. Now, let me give you some examples. Let's say you're trying to sell an Amazon FBA course. So near would be Amazon FBA sellers, people who are already trying to sell on Amazon FBA. Medium would be people wanting to make money with e-commerce. So they want to make money with e-commerce, but they haven't specifically landed on Amazon FBA. And then far would be everyday people that want to make more money, or everyone. So let me just go back. Near is people actively trying to do a specific goal, doing what you teach. So they're already trying to do Amazon FBA. Medium is actively trying to achieve a specific goal, not yet doing what you teach. So they want to make money with e-com. They're not sure which way to go. So they want to make money with e-com, but they haven't landed on maybe FBA yet specifically. And then far is aware of a vague goal, but actively trying to achieve it, totally unfamiliar with what you teach. Everyday people that want to make money. This is where a lot of the biz op space is in, general public, okay? Here's another example. Near would be how to double your Amazon like if you were doing like a webinar title, near would be how to double your Amazon FBA sales in 30 days. Or medium would be how to build a 6-figure e-commerce shop without stocking a single product. See? And FAR would be how to create a 6-figure income selling dollar store items online. So you see how those 3 webinar titles directly tie in to near, medium, and far? Okay. And then of course, like for me, near was Facebook ad agencies. People were already doing Facebook ad agency. Medium would be people wanting to make more money with digital marketing. So maybe they're not doing an ad agency yet, but they're generally in marketing, or they're trying to do SEO or something like that. And then far would be everyday people that want to make more money. Everyone. Again, that's where we get BizOp. So examples of potential webinar titles. So near would be how I landed 7 new Facebook ad clients in 1 week. So directly speaking to them. Medium would be how to profit from this super simple digital marketing niche without months of blogging, growing an email list, or doing JVs. So that's medium. That's people who are, in a digital marketing, but maybe they're not doing that specific thing. And then far would be how to create a super profitable online business even if you suck at tech. So super far. Okay. Let's go with health right now, right? So near would be like, let's say you have a CrossFit course or something on CrossFit. So near would be CrossFit junkies, people who do CrossFit. Medium would be people that regularly work out, okay, but maybe they don't specifically do CrossFit. And then far would be people who want to lose weight, which is everyone. So to give you an example, I don't do CrossFit, so I just made this up, but near would be how to win the CrossFit Olympics. I don't know, maybe there's like CrossFit Olympics or something, or like, how to achieve level 7, status, like Illuminati status in CrossFit. I kind of feel like they do that kind of stuff, but how to win the CrossFit Olympics. So medium would be how to 10x your cardio burn in half the time. I'm supposed to say half the time. So how to 10x your cardio burn in half the time. And far would be this new craze is the fastest way to lose weight ever, but not for the weak of heart. See what I'm saying? See the difference? Okay. So let's go with another one. Near would be paid speakers. Medium would be people wanting to be speakers, and far would be maybe people wanting to be famous. Oh, you want to be famous? You can be a speaker. Okay. So example webinar titles. How to charge more for your speaking engagements. Okay. That's near. Medium, how to land your first paid speaking gig, because they're trying to be speakers, right? And far would be how to create wealth and fame through speaking. See the difference? Okay. So you can print out this level of positioning, and it looks like this, and you can simply write in the different levels that you would find for your offer, and then choose. So print out the how to choose your course niche and level positioning PDFs from this lesson, fill them out, and it will help you gain massive clarity on your offer. Feel free to post in the Sold Out Courses group and get feedback. Keep in mind, one more thing I will tell you is that the closer you get to near, the easier it is to convert. The more you get to far, the harder it is to convert. But as you can see by this diagram here, there are less people as you go in. So when I first started, I was in near. I was teaching Facebook ad agency stuff. And then I moved out to medium because there was a bit more people. And then I redid my webinar and I adjusted it a little bit more. I redid my course and I moved into the general BizOps space, whereas now my webinar is called How to Build a Hyper-Profitable Online Advertising Agency, even if you've don't have any experience, So I'm probably right about here, actually. And the conversions went down, but also a larger pool of people. I was able to spend more money, make more money, and grow, even though the ROI wasn't as good, but the end result in my bank account was better. So if you're already really good at marketing, you can move outward. If you are new, move inward. It's the easiest to convert. You can be a millionaire here. I became a millionaire in near. So like if you have massive, expectations of making millions and millions and millions, eventually you'll have to move out. But you want to make $1 million, you can do that here. Okay. And it's the easiest. So next, let's look at the common traits of all successful programs. So here's some common traits. First, a program clearly defines who would be interested in the program, right? There's no question whatsoever about who wants this program. All right. That's why when a lot of times people say, well, this program's for these people or for these people too, and maybe these people, unless those people are very similar people, it's difficult to sell that program, right? And the more specific you get, the easier it is to convert. So it specifically defines who would be in the program. Okay, I teach a course on how to increase your the amount you charge for speaking gigs. Therefore, this program is for existing paid speakers or speakers that make at least 6 figures, but they want to get to 7. You see what I'm saying? You will have crossover. You will have people from the near, medium, and far, and from you will have crossover people that will buy, but your core buyers will be defined in one. Next, it clearly defines the desire of the person interested. We need to define, okay, what will the program, like, or what do they want from the program? Or what do they want in general? Like, what can I help them with that they want? What is the desire? You can't just say, oh, I want to help them be better at marketing. No. 30 Day Agency, my other program, helps you get your agency up and running, get your first client in 30 days. Simple, boom. Okay, you can't just say, oh, be better at marketing. Be better. If it's ever be better at, not good. You get your first paid speaking gigs. Double your paid speaking fees. Be specific. And then it clearly defines what the end result would be. Now, this is highly similar to the desire, but for instance, the desire create a successful ad agency. That was my offer. What the end result would be get your first paid client in 30 days. See what I'm saying? So the desire might be, I want to lose weight, and the end result would be you will, lose 30 pounds in the first 6 months or so, or whatever it is. Or the desire, for instance, the desire would be, I want to look great for my wedding, and the end result would be, you will be able to go down 3 dress sizes for your wedding or something like that. Be very specific. Next, clearly defines an old method that they are trying that is not working. You must define an old method, right? So if you're selling a real estate course on how to flip houses or how to flip properties, but instead of flipping single family homes, you're going to flip warehouses, right? Then you need to clearly define that, hey, this is why flipping houses is so hard, and I'm able to, do this because I found a new way of flipping warehouses, right? And that's why the next one is clearly define your method that is superior, that is a superior alternate path, okay? So we have to have an old method that they're currently trying, and we have to have your method, the new method, which is a superior path and an alternate path, all right? Oh, you have trouble flipping homes. Well, I make tons of money in real estate because I flip warehouses. Okay, I'm just making this up, but you get what I'm saying? Or you're trying to lose weight because you're dieting, when in reality, you need to do this other thing, or or you're not making money because you are trying to speak at high schools and this and that, when you really should be speaking at specialized corporate trainings. Whatever it is, you have to really identify it. So, for instance, mine is for 30 Day Agency is the old method is to learn fancy email marketing and all this stuff, and the new method is to simply run ads that get people on the phone and have the client close them on the phone and get easy local business clients, not hard clients that require all this fancy marketing. And the reason why the new method is superior is because you get paid the same by both clients, and it's an alternative path. Okay, so you must define your old method and then the new method. The new method is your method, your specific method. Also, your program must offer an attainable end result and deliver on that result. So, for instance, you wouldn't want to say like, hey, this is going to make you a millionaire. That's crazy. But hey, this will get you your first client. That's good. Or, hey, you're going to be an astronaut. No. But maybe, hey, this will help you pass the NASA intern test or something more attainable. Okay, much better to offer something attainable and get people results than it is to over promise. So it must be attainable. Okay, it must be attainable. So next, let's talk about the elements of a great marketing message. So first, we have a niche, or as a lot of people like to call it, niche. I just like to be different, so I say niche. I don't like the word niche. It sounds weird. Anyway, it's a simple label used to describe who you're helping. You could call it audience. You could call it avatar. I don't like that word either. I just say niche. So it's your avatar, your niche, your audience, your target customer, your ideal customer, all the same stuff. So it's a simple label used to describe who you're helping. Next is the desire. The desire they seek or the problem they have, right? I want to get paid more for my speaking gigs. I want to land my first speaking gig. I want to lose weight. I want to make more money. I want to create an e-commerce website. I want to travel the world. Next is the big roadblock. The main thing holding them back that you know they don't need, okay? That you know they don't need. So, I want to be a highly paid speaker, but I don't have connections. So your big roadblock would be you don't need connections to be a highly paid speaker. Or I want to be a highly paid speaker, but I'm not famous. You don't need to be famous to be a highly paid speaker. So you need to identify what's holding them back that you know they don't need, okay? And I'm going to show you later on how to find this out, how to actually get the answers to these questions. But first, before I show you that, you must understand what the questions are and why you need them, okay? So next is the old method. And again, this is the old method they're unsuccessfully trying, right? So for instance, for sold out courses, they're trying launches, and it's just crumbling, okay? And so the old method is launches, the new method is automated, right? Automated. I believe automated is superior, okay? Again, you know, you will know the answers to these questions based on researching your audience, which I'll show you how to do later. Next is the backstory. So the backstory is the story about how you found this alternative path. So you identify the old method, you have your new method, but how did you discover it? That's the backstory. The backstory is how you discovered this new method. Nobody is going to think your new method is awesome unless you tell a story about how you figured it out. And then the belief will begin to manifest, okay? So next is the internal objection. This is the reason why they think they can't execute your new method. So when you teach a new method and then you convince them that the new method works, they're going to say, oh, well, that's great, but there's a reason why I can't do it. There's a reason why I'm not good enough. I'm camera shy. I have stage fright. Okay? They're going to have some reason why they have a problem and they can't execute. Okay? So, you know, if your new method, for instance, is well, do you want to get more paid speaking gigs? Then the new method, instead of doing connections, the new method is to write a book and send your book out to colleges, and then, or I don't know, I'm just making this up. But if that's your method, and then their internal objection is, well, I'm not a good writer, then you need a way to overcome that objection of them not being a good writer. But you must know that that's the actual objection. So that's the internal objection. I'm not a good writer, right? It's something wrong with me. And then there's the external objection. The external objection is the thing outside their control that they think is stopping them from executing your new method. So for instance, old method, cold calling colleges to get speaking gig. New method, sending them a book, an Amazon best-selling book, okay? And that's how you get speaking gigs. So internal objection would be, I'm not a great writer. External objection might be something like, you know, I don't have the money to hire, or I don't have the money to promote my book. Okay. So I can't make it a bestseller. So for instance, you might, in your internal objection, you might handle this by saying, okay, well, all you have to do is record videos of, you outline your book, record videos, and then hire somebody on Fiverr to transcribe, and then edit those videos, and boom, there's your book. And then the external objection, well, I can't promote my book. I don't have the money to promote it. Well, actually, it's very easy to be an Amazon bestseller. You simply sell your book for 1 cent, and you do a promotion, and because everybody buys it because it's 1 cent, it becomes an Amazon bestseller, which I believe that's actually true. Like you can literally, there's a way to be an Amazon bestseller, and it's so, I can't believe they haven't like put the kibosh on this, but literally you can do stuff like that. You can like sell your book for like 1 cent and everybody buys it, and then you're an Amazon bestseller. I heard about that like a couple of years ago, but my point is that would be how you would handle that objection, right? But you have to identify that. Okay. Next is the program outcome, attainable result they can realistically achieve with your program. So maybe the attainable result is, you know, you'll have a book that lands you speaking gigs, or you'll land your first speaking gig, or whatever it is. Attainable result. Okay. So let me give you a few examples. So for my 30-day agency program, my current niche is aspiring online entrepreneurs. The desire is to make money. The big roadblock is you need years of experience in digital marketing to make money. The old method is start a product-based business and run ads to complicated funnels, email sequences, etc. New method is go after easy clients and simply run ads to a phone call. Backstory is how I almost got the light shut off because I was so poor and quickly made $10,000 running simple ads for local businesses as opposed to starting my own business. So I told the story of how I kept trying to start a business and it didn't work, and so why not just do client-based and whatnot like that. Internal objection. I don't have any existing results, so I can't land clients, right? So I taught them how to do a freebie for a client and result to a testimonial, and then use that testimonial as a marketing tool to get paid clients. Boom. External objection handled. Internal objection handled. External objection. I don't have time, as it seems like a lot of work. Okay. So then, I showed them how to put their client acquisition on autopilot, et cetera, et cetera. Program outcome, land your first paid client within 30 days. So that right there is like an example. All right. For instance, I'll just off the top of my head, niche, paid speakers, desire, increase their fee, big roadblock. They need to join more associations, but they really don't. You know, they really don't. Old method, cold call colleges. New method. Send a video package to niche-based corporate, like, you know, automotive dealers or whatever, and offer a niche-based training, not a general or motivational, a niche-based training. The new method is niche-based speaking, okay? Super specific speaking, corporate training, and, you know, backstory would be like, well, I used to do motivational speaking, or I used to try to speak on generalities and sales, and then I could never get paid enough, and da-da-da. And then one day, a buddy of mine says, hey, you know, John, could you craft a specific training for our dealership on how to increase sales for our service department? And then I thought, oh, yeah, I can do that. So I crafted this very, very specific training, nothing like I had done before. And then I said, okay, well, how much are you going to pay me? Oh, we can pay you $10,000. What? Oh, I did it. I got paid $10,000. And then I got referred to another dealership. I got paid $15,000. Why? Because they wanted one specific problem handled, and I was there to handle that problem. And so, you know, the old method is to be a generalist. The new method is to be a specialist. And the backstory is how I discovered that when I met my friend who asked me yada, yada, yada. Internal objection might be something like, you know, well, I'm not a specialist in anything. And then we handle that with helping them discover that they're a specialist. And then external objection might be something like, well, or for instance, the external objection could be, I don't think I'm worth $10,000, right? Or I don't know how to do sales to ask for that much. Whatever you find out the objection is, you got to understand it, then handle it. External objection might be something like, okay, well, I don't live in a big city, right? So you say, well, actually, you know, you can not only get these companies to pay for your flight, but you can at the same time take your family on vacation and write it off as a business expense and blah, blah, blah. But again, I'm just making this stuff up. If I did the research on this niche market, I would know what the objections are, and then I'd be able to craft something. So I'm just giving you examples. And then the program outcome would be like something like land your first niche-specific client in 30 days, something like that. Boom. Okay. All right. Next, how does this fit all into your marketing specifically? Like, I've described the elements. You can write them down on a piece of paper. You can identify them. You can understand them. And I recommend you do. I recommend you go ahead and guess, right? Now, in the next, in the following lessons, I'm going to show you how to know, right? I'm going to show you how to research your market. I'm going to show you how to build an audience and really understand. But in the meantime, it's a good brain exercise to begin guessing what these elements are. And then when you do the research, you'll find that some you're right, some you're wrong, and you can then update that and refine that, and then you can start working on things like your webinars and whatnot. But let me give you an example of how this all fits in your marketing, because before you start going out and deciding these things, you need to understand them first. Then you can go out and start deciding on what these elements are. But you first need to understand what they are and why we have them. So how does this all fit in your marketing? So webinar title describes how you will show niche, how to get desire without big roadblock. That's the number one go-to for me. How to get the desire without the big, how to sell online courses without complicated launches. Boom. Okay. Webinar story describes how you discovered the new method and why it's so much better than the old method, thus giving you the desire without the big roadblock. See what I'm saying? So that's going to be the story section of your webinar. Secret number one, we do 3 secrets in our webinar. So secret number 1, explanation or a bird's eye view of the model you use to get desire. All right, so secret number 1 is going to be the vehicle, the explanation or the bird's eye view of the model you use to get desire. So let me show you a bird's eye view of my new method, right? Secret number 1 defines your new method. It defines the bird's eye view or basic explanation of this new method. It gives you a bird's eye view of it. Yes, you've covered it in your webinar story, but you're going to give more of a bird's eye view and really go into it in secret number 1. Secret number 2 is the answer to the internal objection. It's, okay, well, I can't do that new method because of this. Well, here's why you don't need to worry about that. That's secret number 2. And then secret number 3 is, again, same thing, but it's external objection. So in reality, there's only one secret, because secret number 2 and secret number 3 are simply answers to big objections. So when you're crafting your 3 secrets, the 3 things you're going to teach, what you're really trying to do is you're not trying to teach them, you're trying to inspire them. You're trying to create belief. So you show them the bird's eye view, you show them the model, and then when they're like, oh, that's cool, but I can't do it because of this, because I can't do it because of that, instead of teaching more random stuff, you instead inspire them by showing them like, oh no, you don't need that, or that's not a problem. Okay, so the more inspiring and belief you create, as opposed to the more you teach, the more you will sell. All right. Next is the stack. The stack is an itemized pitch of how your program will allow them to achieve the program outcome. So after secret 3, you go into the stack. And the stack is an itemized, it's the pitch, right? It's the pitch for your stuff. So, for instance, my webinar that's done millions of dollars, webinar title, how to start and grow a hyper-profitable online advertising business even if you don't have any existing marketing experience. Webinar story, how I almost got the light shut off because I was so poor and I quickly made $10,000 running simple ads for local businesses as opposed to starting my own business. Secret number 1, how to find business owners who are more than willing to pay you and land your very first client right away, even if you have 0 experience. So this, I show them in this secret, I show the model of how to get your first client and what client to choose and why that makes it so easy, to where you don't have to do, other stuff, right? So the webinar story convinced you, hey, running an ad agency is the answer, but secret number 1 shows you that my approach to an ad agency is why it works so well. And that's what I taught. I taught choose easy clients, and get them on the phone. Okay. And I taught them like, hey, this is how you do this. Okay. And I didn't get into specifics. I didn't do step by step. I just let them discover what the model was and why it works so well. Secret number 2, how to bring in a flood of new customers for your client, even if you are brand new to online advertising. So that's where I teach them the process of how we advertise, right? So secret number 1 is more about client selection and why it's so profitable to do this. And then secret number 2, they're like, okay, well, that's great, Dan. but I'm not good at advertising. Well, I show them that the way I advertise requires very little tech, very little, no email marketing, none of that. And I said, well, listen, I know you're not good at advertising, which is why I'm going to show you that you don't need to be, that you can use this simple process only if you're choosing easy clients, and almost anybody can do it. And I show them how that's possible. Oh, look, this client got all these leads and all these sales from just this simple process. No emails, no this, no that. So I'm inspiring belief, not teaching. Secret number 3, how to scale to multiple clients so you can earn a consistent monthly income and more than replace your 9 to 5. Again, sometimes these titles don't really reveal there's an objection, right? This is copy. This is more to get them to want to watch the secret. But in this secret, I show them, why you can create, I say, okay, you don't have time to do sales. You don't have time to do all this stuff. But if you stick to one client, right? If you get results for a dentist and you only do dentists, then all that becomes easy because you dominate one market, word of mouth goes crazy, and now you don't have to be good at sales. You don't have to invest all this time into marketing your business because you're sticking with one client, and it's so easy to scale. And then I show them how I was able to, I showed them all the people that were willing to sign up because I got better results, and it just inspires belief. I don't say step 1, say this to a client. Step 2, I say, hey, if you don't want to have to be good at sales and you don't have the time to do this or that, then simply stick with one client. And if all you have to do is say, hey, you're a dentist, you want more customers, I have 5 dentists over here that I already got more customers, do you want to sign up? And then your pitch becomes so easy because it's so specific and so niche to them. And I also cover, how when you're running simple ads and you're choosing the same client, it brings the time down because you don't have to keep recreating offers. You just duplicate the offer and change the name, and now you're serving another client. So again, I address those objections. So I'm not saying, hey, here's how you do this. I'm saying, hey, if you do this concept, it overcomes your objection. Now they believe, and now they'll buy the program to get the how. Okay? You show them the what, and you sell them the how. Okay? And then the stack. So here's my stack. And you will get more into this into the webinar template. You'll understand more of this. But my stack is the complete 30-day agency program, $2,997 value. Access to the Get Clients Private Mastermind Group, $2,997 value. Ad critique videos, $997 value. Sample proposals, contracts, and onboarding videos, $497 value. Winning offers cheat sheet, $997 value. Bonus number 1, real-time client walkthroughs. Bonus number 2, automated case study funnel. Bonus number 3, 30-day client acquisition. Normally $3,000, today only $997. So what this is, and I'll get more into this into the webinar template, but you want to have your basic deliverables, then you want to have 3 bonuses, and then you want to have a price that you normally charge, and then you want to have the price for the webinar. Okay? Again, don't go crazy on this right now. Don't think you have to get all this together right now. I'm just giving you an example of the basic elements of what my webinar is for this product. You will get way deeper into this in the webinar template, but again, I'm just trying to show you what these elements are and how they fit in so you can start thinking about them, understanding why they exist, and then when we do the research, when we get into the webinar template, when we get into that, you'll really be able to execute on them. So in order to execute on them, right, we need to create 3 statements. And the first one is our RMS, our refined marketing statement. If we can create these statements and they make sense and we're not babbling, then all this stuff that seems so complicated, right? And I know you're probably thinking right now, oh, Dan, this is so much stuff. Well, guess what? If you can just create these simple sentences, then all this becomes super easy. So here's the first one, the refined marketing statement. One more time, I'll say, I know I've said it a million times, you must complete this sentence without rambling. Okay? So, I help niche get desire without roadblock by new method. One more time. I help niche get desire without roadblock by new method. Let's build it out. I help. Who do you help? I help speakers, right? We'll go back to the speaker example. I help we'll do authors. I help authors. get, or you could say it a little bit different, like I help authors sell more books, or I help authors sell their first book or publish their first book. So I might say I help aspiring authors publish their first book. Okay, now I'm working it out, right? Without, I help aspiring authors publish their first book without, and then we got to say, let's see, what is the common roadblock? Without being good writers. Ooh, I help aspiring authors publish their first book without being good writers by using video book writing or whatever. Okay, or I help speakers get paid more without cold calling by becoming a top-selling author or using a book speaking funnel or whatever, right? So, and keep in mind, this is an internal statement for the most part, okay? So this is just to help you identify what you're doing so you understand what to do in your market. This is not something that you're going to go running around town saying. But as you can see, as I'm like coming up with random examples, I'm thinking about it, right? I'm trying to understand, like, and that's what you need to do, okay, to really understand it. So for instance, for sold out courses, I help experts create a profitable online course without complicated launches by scaling automated webinars. Boom. Okay. So, so that's what you got to create, your statement, right? I help, golfers decrease their handicap without hours upon hours at the driving range by, I'm trying to think what a golfing method would be, by my unique, or by digital swing training. Okay, fine. I help golfers reduce their handicap without hours at the driving range through digital swing training, whatever that is. You see what I'm saying? So you're identifying who you're marketing to, you're identifying what their desire is, you're identifying what their roadblock is, and you're identifying your new method, okay? Or for instance, I help I help aspiring real estate investors flip their first house without fighting over auctions by mastering off-market properties. Okay? Something like that. Again, only you would know this because this is your stuff, right? This is your market. So next, and this one is a little bit, this is a very similar statement, but it's a little bit different, okay? And this is a big domino statement. This directly ties into your webinar. The RMS is more about your offer. The big domino is more about your webinar. And that is, if I can make blank believe that the only way to achieve blank is by blank, and the only way through blank is through blank, then all objections become irrelevant and they must invest. You're probably like, holy crap, Dan, that looks complicated. Well, it's rather simple when we look at some examples. If I can make speakers believe that the only way to get more speaking gigs is by selling or creating an Amazon best-selling book, and the only way to do that is through my best-selling speaker program, then all objections become irrelevant and they must invest. So basically what I've done is I've identified that I'm selling to speakers. I identify their desire. They want to get more speaking gigs. And I've convinced them that my revelation was that I created an Amazon bestseller. I sent it out to colleges and I said, here's my best-selling book on this subject. I'd love to come speak. And that's what really made the difference. Oh, great. Well, that means I need an Amazon bestseller. So the only way to do that is through my best-selling speaker program. Boom. Now all the objections become irrelevant. They must invest. So again, this is a very similar statement to your RMS, but if you have both and both make sense, boy, you're going to be on point. Okay? So here's another example. If I can make speakers believe that the only way to get more speaking gigs is by going after super niche events, and the only way to do that is through my niche speaker program, then all objections become irrelevant and they must invest. So you see how it's very similar to this one, but it's a different offer, right? See the difference? So here's another one. If I can make speakers believe that the only way to get higher paying gigs is by going after super niche events, the only way to do that is my super or is my niche speaker program, then all objections become irrelevant and they must invest. So you see, same audience, different desires, different methods, but it all fits in. So next, we want to create our roadblock statement. This one's super simple. So your brain's probably tired by now. That's okay. This one's simple. It's this. The truth is, you don't need blank to get blank. That's all you need. That's it. That's the whole statement. So the truth is, you don't need big launches to make big money with courses. The truth is, you don't need connections to land more speaking gigs. The truth is, you don't need to be famous or well-known to land more speaking gigs. The truth is, you don't need to be famous or well-known to land more speaking gigs. You just need to be a specialist. You can add on that as well. So what is this roadblock statement? It's a statement you say, and this one you can really start saying out in public. It's something that's going to resonate in your webinar. The truth is, you don't need to be famous or well-known to land more speaking gigs. You just need my new vehicle. You just need to be a specialist. So you'll actually create multiple roadblock statements for almost every objection they have. The truth is, it doesn't take a lot of time to manage multiple clients. You just need to stick to the same client so that you create a production line and you're not creating a new offer every time you get a client, right? Or the truth is, you don't need to spend hours at the gym to lose weight. You just need to maximize the calories burned during your workout. I mean, you could do multiple roadblock statements, but you need to identify the biggest roadblock and put that front and center, and you will do that during the research process when you're building your audience, which we'll get to, but you must understand this first, okay? So when you create those 3 statements, and when you create multiple roadblock statements, you will now have the essential building blocks of all the nitty-gritty stuff you'll be doing later, like your webinar and all that, okay? But these are the foundations. You need to create a great RMS, refined marketing statement. You need to then create a great big domino statement, which those are, again, they're very similar, but if you can have both of them on point, that means you're clear. This is all about clarity, getting clear, okay? You got to get clear on your offer. And if both of those statements are solid and they're not rambling, you're going to be clear. And then you can have several roadblock statements. Just make sure that one of them is your main one, okay? And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. There is a research process to this. There is a way to find out what all of these are. Not guess, not your opinion, but know your audience and know exactly what all the objections are, these desires, so you know exactly not only what to teach so they get value, but what to say so that they feel like they're speaking, you're speaking directly to them. And you're going to do that by building an audience or researching an audience, doing the research, getting them to give you feedback, and answer certain questions that reveal to you what the answers to these are, and then creating these statements, okay? So what you can do now is you can guess what these are, but then as you do the research, you will refine and you'll update those answers, and then once you're like, all right, this is it, now you can go in and create your webinar and all that good stuff and begin really making this work. But like I said, prep time, okay? Meticulous planning. That's how we do this. So next, choosing a name for your course, all right? So this is really, really simple, really, really simple. The name for your course is not critical to sell the course, all right? It really isn't. It's more critical to create what I call organic fallout. What's organic fallout? It's when people start buying your stuff and then they say, oh, Dan's blank program is great. Well, if it's Dan's super marketing Excelsior program, people are gonna be like, what the hell is that? But if it's like, oh, Dan's 30-day agency program is great. Well, 30-day agency, that sounds, you see what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I get that, right? And it does help sales a little bit, but it's not super critical, because early on I had some pretty terrible names for courses and they still sold. But you must understand that you will have a lot of people buy your stuff because of word of mouth, and the best way to have that is make sure your program name is good. So here's how you do that. You think of the end result your student wants or that the program can deliver, and you try to say it in as little words as possible, okay? Example, 30-day agency. I'll help you create a profitable agency in 30 days. Get your first client in 30 days. 30-day agency. Example, sold out courses. I'll help you create profitable courses, sold out courses. Okay. Not, not, for instance, info product blueprint. That would be good. But something like, I'm trying to think of one that would be bad. Like, for instance, some people can get a little too artsy and they might call it something like, the black hole effect, or just something weird. Like, what the hell does that mean? I get what 30-day agency means. I get what sold out courses, but what the hell is the black hole effect? Well, we're going to create a black hole of leads that just sucks all the leads in the universe into this hole for your business. Like, no, stop. Okay. Don't do that. It's terrible. All right. Here's an example of a sold out courses student who I taught this naming method to, and helped her on the coaching, in the coaching. She sells a real estate course, specifically to first-time real estate investors. So what do we come up with? First deal done fast. They want their first deal. So her course is all about getting them that first deal. Name of course, first deal done fast. Boom. Simple. One other piece of advice I'll give you is do not use trademark names like Facebook, Amazon. One of my first courses was called Facebook Ads for Entrepreneurs. Guess what happened? Got a letter from Facebook, lawyers, whole thing, had to change it. Don't if your course even remotely becomes successful, if you sell like just even a couple copies and they get wind of it, they're going to make you change it anyway. Don't use trademark names. Instead, use something like or instead of like Amazon Accelerator, use Ecom Accelerator, FBA Accelerator, Dropship Accelerator. General names, but still gets the point across. All right. So there's no more else I need to say on naming your course. That's it. It's simple. Okay. That's all that you need to know. And don't overthink it past this, because if you do overthink it, then you're going to go nuts. All right. Next is understanding pricing models, right? What do I charge for my program? Well, the following is simply a guideline. Rules are meant to be broken. They are. But these are just standard pricing models that make the most sense when it comes to advertising costs for automated webinars. So this isn't, I'm not saying you have to charge this. I'm just saying this is generally what works for most people. Okay? Now, to understand pricing, we must first understand how the sale is made, because there's two major forms of webinar marketing. There's webinar sale and webinar phone close. So webinar sale is they see an ad, they register for a webinar, they attend, they're offered a product, they purchase on an order page, and they never speak to anyone. That's what I teach. That's what I teach in sold out courses. That's the method I teach. And now I do both of these. Okay, we do webinar phone close for sold out courses, and we do webinar sale for 30-day agency. So I'm experienced in both. So that's why I'm going to cover how the pricing is affected by this. Now, webinar phone close is they see an ad, they register for a webinar, they attend, they're offered a free strategy session, they book a time, they attend a call, and a sales rep closes them and takes payment. Okay? Now let's look at the pros and cons of each. So this is how a standard webinar sale works. They see an ad, they go to a webinar, they go to an order page, make a sale. The pros are it's set it and forget it. It's easier to diagnose and fix problems, and it's very hands-off and passive. Okay, the cons are it does require more pages, like more pages in your funnel and more stuff, because you're convincing these people without ever talking to them. And there's a bit more setup and technology to integrate, because you have to have an email sequence. I'm not saying you shouldn't have an email sequence with the other one, but I've literally seen people crush it with the other one and not have an email sequence, which is crazy to me. But the email sequence would be longer because you're trying to convince them to buy something versus convince them to just book a call. Okay, so that's a little bit of the con. It's not bad though. Next is ad, webinar, booking page, phone call, sale. Pros are it's a little bit more forgiving. What does that mean? It means if you make a mistake in your marketing a little bit and your sales rep has the wherewithal to the skill to kind of overcome that, it can be a little bit more forgiving. It's a little bit less set up because, again, you're not creating order pages. You're creating just a simple booking page, and then your sales rep is manually taking payment. All right. And this is arguable, but many people argue that it's higher ROI, meaning you make more money per ad spend on it. Again, very arguable. But a lot of people believe that. Mine does have a higher ROI, but as I move into the cons, you'll see the challenges here. I make more money, way more money off the other one, even though this one's higher ROI. because it's a bit harder to scale. And here's why. It requires ongoing maintenance and management, constant hiring, firing, and training of sales reps, and it's harder to identify problems due to more variables. Because if it's not selling, is it your webinar or is it a crappy sales rep, right? Like seriously, there is a lot with this. Like managing a sales team is basically like daycare. It's like literally like running a daycare, and everybody just had sugar. Okay, so if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to do this one instead, no, there's a reason I teach the other one in this program, because it's in my opinion, unless you're selling something super high ticket, it's way better. And here's why I say that when we get into pricing. $297 to $1997 works very well for webinar sale, the simpler one. The higher the price point, the more effort needed in both marketing and product offering, right? So the higher your price point, the better your webinar has to be. Simple. But $297 to $997, totally fine for a regular automated webinar sale. $3,997 to $5,800 is best reserved for automated webinar phone close, okay? The second one I showed you. While the ROI is generally better, again, arguable, better than webinar sale, it comes with way more challenges in the management department. So even though my ROI is actually quite a bit better on this one, I make way less money off of it because currently we're still working out our sales team for sold out courses, because we sell sold out courses on the phone call. We sell 30 to agency on the webinar sale. We did I think last month we did $400,000 with webinar sale and $100,000 with webinar phone close. So even though it was higher profit margin, I made more money off the other one because I just send traffic to it and it converts. Whereas this one, I send traffic to it. Oh crap, Jerry, the sales rep, had to go out on vacation. Now this is a problem, and the new sales rep can't close because she's going through a divorce and she's a seriously, it's way more of a problem. So there's that. And then $15,000 to $50,000. This is generally for mastermind groups with an intimate group coaching or even one-on-one attention. These are best sold after a student has become successful with a previous product and wants to scale faster with more attention. So for instance, I have a $30,000 program. It's called Elite. And what this is people have direct access to me. They come out to my office several times a year. They get much more attention. And it's for selling it's for doing automated webinars and selling courses. But none of the people in that program joined that program immediately. They all were in sold out courses. They got success with sold out courses. They're like, man, this is great. This is going great. I want more attention from Dan. I want to scale faster. And so they joined Elite, which is my personal coaching program. I'm sure there are people out there that sell this $50,000 offers directly from like a webinar to phone close. I know some, but again, I'm just saying it's much more difficult, okay? And these are general guidelines. Just to identify this, $2,500 around there is a weird gray area that is more difficult for webinar sale. I know a lot of people that do fine with that, but you really have to be on point. But it's not really worth doing it for webinar phone close, right? Like it's like $3,000 probably, because you got to pay your sales reps and this and that. So that's just like a weird kind of gray area. Again, these are guidelines. $8,000 to $12,000 is another gray area that is difficult because it's so in between standard pricing models. So if you try to sell group coaching for this amount, right, your close rate drops significantly. Unless you have an ace sales team, right? So I know a lot of people that sell $5,000 programs, phone close does well. They've tried to up it to $10,000. They have issues. Some of them don't have issues, but most of them do. So $8,000 to $12,000 is tough. It's also tough because if you try to sell, like, say, a mastermind for this amount, you're undercharging. And you may not be able to provide enough value in exchange for your time. I know somebody that sold a $12,000 mastermind with Voxer coaching and weekly calls, and they get to come out 5 times a year for retreats, and that person had to shut it down because it was so hard to deliver, and then they tried to sell it. I also know they tried to sell it for $25,000 to fix that, but they were trying to sell it front end, and so they had trouble with that. So, it's, again, these are not, I'm not telling you you should or should not do any of this. I'm giving you general pricing guidelines. You take from that what you will, you make the decision. No one can really tell you what to charge for your course. I can only give you examples and let you make the decision from there. So here's some examples of prices I've charged and what I've delivered. $297 to $597, course only, no private group, no coaching calls. So there's no Facebook group to maintain, no coaching calls, course only. $997, course and a private group, meaning private Facebook group. $1997, $2,000, course, private group, and 1 to 2 Q&A calls per week. Okay, just coaching calls. People come on and ask questions. That would be more towards like sold out courses. Course, private group, 1 to 2 group coaching calls per week. Now you say, well, wait, what's the difference between that? Well, a Q&A call is more of a question and answer, and a group coaching call is deeper. So for instance, for when I did them for 30-Day Agency, people would come on, ask questions about the program, we'd answer them. Group coaching calls are more like, you come on, you dive deep, there's more time spent on each person. Maybe they actually show you their stuff and you like really look at their stuff and screen share and things like that. And it's more coaching, whereas the first one's more Q&A. Okay. $30,000. So this is what I charge for my $30,000 program. So there's no course. What I do is I include all my other product. 3 to 4 in-person meetings. So 3 to 4 times a year, people will come out to my office or my home for 2 days at a time, and I will work with them in close proximity at these mastermind meetings. All right. We also have a small, intimate weekly calls where they can screen share and stuff like that if they need more help in between the meetings. And then there's also Voxer coaching, where they can send me a question anytime on Voxer. I answer it, and they pretty much have 24/7 access to me. I just answer it when I get to it. And so it's like I'm their personal CMO for their company. And I charge $30,000 currently, charge $30,000 for that. So these are some examples of my product pricing and products I've released and what I've included with them. Again, from this, I'm not telling you to charge this. I'm saying this is what I've charged. This is what's worked for me. And from that, you can take it what you will. Now, here are some pro pricing tips. Always promise a fixed number of calls if you're going to do coaching calls, but never remove students from calls as you grow. For instance, for sold out courses, we promise 8 calls in our marketing and in our sales, but we don't kick people off after 8 calls. People come to the calls as we do them. There's no kicking them off. So we say 8 calls, but when they get in the program, they realize that they have pretty much lifetime access. As long as we're doing the program, they're pretty happy. Okay. And so what this allows you an out if you ever need it. Like, what happens if I decide one day I want to become a monk and I don't want to do sold out courses anymore? Well, all I got to do is decide I'm going to become a monk and leave at least no sooner than 8 weeks after my last sale. See what I'm saying? But at the same time, it allows you to over deliver, because when somebody buys something and they expect 8 calls and they get 2 years, they're like, hell yeah. Okay, so that's a really good pro pricing tip, more of a pro delivery tip, but it's related to pricing. Also, if you get to the point where you need to remove people from calls, like let's say you scale to or you're starting to scale to a lot of students and you're like, oh, I can't handle all this, which actually doesn't really happen, because believe it or not, most people don't show up to every call. So it's not a big deal. But if you get to that point, then you can simply either add more calls, add a second call per week, have a top student of yours or one of your staff do a second or third call. That way it spreads out the amount of calls, and so the amount of people on each call drops. Or just raise your prices, because if you're doing that well, you can raise your prices. Okay, simple solution. Alternatively, even if you did have to remove them, which I don't recommend, I would never do that. They are aware that they have been getting bonus time up until this point, and they will understand. If you say you get 8 calls, they get a year, and they're like, hey guys, we got to start enforcing this, though they should understand, because they just got a year they got 40 whatever weeks of calls for free, basically. And then at that time, you could maybe offer some sort of like upgrade fee or whatever. But to be honest with you, I know guru level people that sell hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of high ticket products, and they've never had to kick people out. They've never had to. So it's not an issue you should worry about. But I know that's probably in your head, so that's why I'm providing this information. But I promise you, you will not run into that anytime soon. Okay? So these are some pricing tips. So that concludes this section, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.